welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I am your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is... Oh yeah, there's
Joel.
Joel, you go. Yeah.
Right, that threw me off. I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
I'm Ryan. I play Ryu, Tiefling Magus.
Aaron and I play Waltz, a human champion.
So yeah, like I mentioned, Adam is absent because even we are not immune to the scheduling conflicts of tabletop RPGs. And normally that would have stopped us from being able to record all together, but fortunately our party is separated. So to accommodate our scheduling conflicts, we're recording some episodes with just Dax and Waltz because we were able to get it together, and then just Ryu and Jules because we were able to get them together. But Ryan's just hanging out here because he was available, so he's going to listen in on this Waltz and Dax episode.
My friends.
Yeah, he loves his friends. And also, Ryan, you're really good at just listening to us play at this point.
I've got so much practice at this point.
You have mastered the art of doing absolutely nothing while your friends play and have fun. You're so good at it, dude. You have the perfect like stoic face of like yearning to play, but yeah, so I'm just glad to have you here.
I practice by standing outside your guys' windows in the rain while you play inside.
Is that what that was? Okay. Yeah. So this is the Waltz and Dax episode. So we're just going to follow their little adventure in Scale Keep. So last time on Mortals and Portals with those two party members, they journeyed down the tunnel from Forgoth's Lair to Scale Keep. They heard some dragging, bickering commotion in the tunnel, and then they ran into the goblin and catfolk from episode 9 that had the hippogriff, which we now know as Smith, and Waltz had this way too long of interaction with and like kind of befriended them, and they seem to think he's a Drake Knight, and they were taking a deer to go feed to Forgoth. Basically they were in trouble for losing the hippogriff that they were going to feed to Forgoth, so that was their punishment. They had to like manually drag the deer there. So Walt said, hey guys, don't worry about it, I'll get it, I'll take it, and I'll meet you back at Scale Keep. And they kindly told him the password to like get into Scale Keep, basically. And then also mentioned there's some sort of like fight to determine who's like the leader of Scale Keep in Sindor's absence, because Bolgru is out at sea, they believe, and obviously dead, but they don't know that. And Captain Nelly, you guys killed in episode 2, the captain of Enoch, and then the captain of Gaymar is apparently not available and out like patrolling Gaymar in case you guys show up, basically. And Sindor's not there yet, so they're having like a ceremonial fight to see who's in charge. Yeah, so they said they'd save you guys a seat, headed back to Scale Keep. You guys walked the rest of the way, encountered a door, and Dax expertly lockpicked this door, snuck in past some Drake Knights that were arguing about who was stronger, Forgoth or Desmar, the two Drakes. And then Waltz tried to follow him, made a little commotion, got their attention, and basically said like, hey, you guys left the door unlocked, and completely convinced them that they were inept because they were drunk and they are kind of stupid. And they let Waltz go because they thought Waltz was like a superior, basically, that was scolding them. And then the two of you regrouped and headed into the light, ascending into Scale Keep, and that is where we ended our session. So that is where we will start our session, with the two of you preparing to enter Scale Keep. Cut it over to you guys if there's any last things you want to say before you head out.
Hey, Dax, there's been a lot of interactions lately, running into a lot of people where I've kind of had to deceive quite a few people, and especially after that fight with Forgoth, pretty exhausted. You mind if I take a sec before we head into Scale Keep?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, that's fine. Take all the time you need, bud.
And we'll also take this time to just refocus.
Okay. Regaining your focus point, basically.
Yes, let me get that thing back.
So you're going to spend about 10 minutes maybe just kind of sitting against the wall, trying to draw from that familiar feeling that you've become more acquainted with over time, and starting to learn that after you expend it, if you just focus on that feeling, you can regain some of that power. So maybe Dax, you have some time to like ponder your plan or your angle of approach.
You can see Dax kind of lean against the side of the wall. He'll take out his thieves' tools, clean him up a little bit, just kind of mess with him, fidget, as he thinks about what's coming up. In his experience going into something like this without almost any intel, I mean, he knows he's going after a magical artifact or object, I guess. But other than that, there's not a ton of information. So, you know, he doesn't have any blueprints. He doesn't have any idea where this thing even is. So he's a little antsy. He's a little anxious. And you can see that on his face and in his actions. So yeah, he'll just be kind of fiddling with his thieves' tools as he waits for Waltz to ready up.
Okay, so maybe you each spend some time thinking about what you perceive your role to be in this situation. Maybe kind of decompressing a bit. You can sort of hear the chatter of Drake Knights and some commotion out in Scale Keep. And you know that you're literally walking into the heart of the enemy right now, just the two of you. And maybe just kind of hanging out in this moment where you're not doing that yet is kind of a moment you want to last a lot longer than it's going to. So you're kind of just enjoying the silence. And then after 10 minutes, Waltz, you feel like you have regained your focus point and your ability to channel those associated powers.
Yeah, Waltz will kind of finish by rubbing his hand on his neck where that scar is that he got branded on him, and just recall, you know, all the series of events that kind of led up to this point, from, you know, that battle with all the goblinoids and everything, almost getting executed, Digsby, and just using this time to kind of reflect on all that has happened up to this point, even though it's been a relatively short amount of time.
It's been a wild few days.
Yeah.
After a moment, Dax will let out a sigh and close up his thieves' tools, kind of flip him in his hand a little bit, and reach back, put him in his satchel, and look to Waltz. Waltz, you ready?
Yeah, buddy. I think I'm ready to go.
You know, I'm thinking, because we don't know the lay of the land in there, I'm thinking it's best if we try to lay low and go unnoticed until we have to, you know? I can't deny you've gotten us out of some crazy situations with your unreal ability to BS your way in and out of situations, but I think in there, that is a skill we save until we have to use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what do you want me to do?
I think if you can just follow my lead and sneak, or if you think it might be, I mean, I'm open in, but maybe you just hang out in one area, try to eavesdrop, see what kind of information you can gain, and I can sneak around and try to find the location of the arcanor, perhaps, and then maybe we can rendezvous back where we start, see where we are, and go from there.
Yeah, to be completely honest with you, Dax, thinking back to Karos when I tried sneaking with you and it didn't really work out and I ran into those cabbages, and not too long ago when I tried to sneak with you and couldn't really find a very good hiding spot behind that rock, maybe it is best if you do the sneaking and I'll find where I fit in to support you best. I'll keep my eyes on you as long as I can, and if there's any time you need a distraction, I'll do that, but other than that, maybe I'll try and pick up as much information as I can and just blend in as one of the guys. I do have a decent amount of experience being a foot soldier in a pretty big army, so I'm sure that'll come naturally to me.
Oh, I'm sure it will, Waltz. It sounds good to me. Appreciate the help, bud. I don't think I could do it without you.
Oh, well, you may have to, honestly. I don't know how much help I'll be here, but if there's anything I can do, maybe you find a way to signal to me or make a noise. What do you think? Is there anything that you have or that we could do to signify that you are in a little bit of trouble?
Waltz, if you remember on my home planet, we use secret speech to communicate silently. How about this? How about I teach you 2 signals? One will signal stay away. The other will signal come to me. That way, if you are found out, you can tell me to stay away without alerting anybody. And if you have information and it's a safe place to rendezvous, you can tell me that too.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And then Dax will show him the hand movements that are associated with that. Use your imagination. I don't know. I don't have to figure
something
it
very
out.
subtle, you know?
Right. It's very cool. Whatever it is, it's cool.
It's so cool. Just picture something cool and you're good.
Right.
Yeah, I can picture something cool.
Yeah.
Here, make it this.
Perfect, Ryan. That's perfect. Yeah, that, guys. What Ryan just did, that's what it is.
Right. Dax will show him the 2 coordinating hand signs that go with those.
All right. So you guys ready to go?
Yeah, Waltz will practice him a couple times, make sure he kind of has it down, and I'm ready to go.
All right. Waltz, can you roll me a society check just to see like kind of how well you've absorbed this very niche form of communication?
Yes. 24.
Nice. All right. So Dax, you're kind of studying Waltz as he's mimicking these hand movements, and he picked it up very quickly. You're actually very surprised, like kind of like, huh, Waltz is a lot smarter than I thought, He's just perfectly mimicking what you're doing.
Yeah, I think maybe Waltz is pretty good at non-verbal communication sometimes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Working in a market, he's good at reading lips. I can actually read lips as one of my feats. And maybe just reading people. He's always good at reading body language, and this was maybe somewhat natural to him.
Yeah, that's good.
Waltz, I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Okay, so you guys ready to head and skill keep?
I'm ready.
All right, so you guys ascend the stairwell, walking into the light, and step out into an opening. And immediately, without any perception check, you can just see you're encased in walls, and you see lots of Drake Knights and commotion in front of you, kind of a mass huddle of them. Would you like to roll me perception checks?
Yeah.
I would love to, in fact.
Okay.
Get a 9.
Nice.
That is a 21.
Really.
Ooh. Dax, you're kind of like scanning around, and as you're scanning, you just see Waltz kind of smiling at the group of people, like, that looks like fun, kind of just enjoying seeing all these people, and you're like, all right. And then you keep kind of scanning all around skill keep. So you can see that it's very clearly a square shape, just 4 walls, but the back wall is built into the mountain itself. So it's just in the base of the mountain, but you can tell you're already elevated, just breathing the air, that you're kind of at a higher altitude. And in the center, you see a big cluster of Drake Knights, and there's an elevated stage in between them. And you can sort of see just weapons being handed kind of through the crowd and making its way towards a few specific Drake Knights in the center of this cluster. You can sense a lot of excitement coming from it. And as you pan around, you see built into the mountainside is a very large structure with a big domed roof, and it has vegetation growing along this building, kind of just branches, almost like a spider web, just crawling all around it. It looks overgrown, almost like it's abandoned in a way, but every other building seems like fairly new white stone. It looks like it's been maintained compared to this structure. And you can see stables and like what is perhaps an armory and what is likely a barracks, and then a few other doors that are a little less distinct. And you guys are just on the fringes. You are in one of the walls, basically. So you're not really in the thick of anything yet. And you're on the ground floor. So there's obviously like the wall above you and things like that.
Hey, Waltz, check out that abandoned building. You see that?
Yeah, it's odd. Everything else looks pretty new around here. What do you think that means?
I'm wondering if maybe Sindor doesn't let anybody there to do upkeep. Maybe as Drake Knights, whose job it is to, clean the grounds and stuff, but maybe with as powerful as the Arcanor is, he doesn't allow anybody there. Or it could just be a defunct building that they don't use. I of course don't know, but the odd one out seems worth looking into.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because I would just think the Arcanor would be more towards the heart of the keep where it's most protected.
Yeah, also a good point for sure. Dax will throw his hood up and try to just hide as much of himself as he can. He wants to try to scan for a path of some sort to that building, planning a route ahead of shadows or trying to see what maybe the most stealthy, least noticeable path would be to that overgrown structure.
Yeah, you can roll me a perception check.
18.
So where you are against the wall has a bit of an overhang, like a canopy, so you kind of are in shadow right now, hugging the wall. And it does look like you could walk along this wall basically all the way to that structure, though you know that there's many doors along the path you'd be taking of potential rooms or people you could be passing. And then also when you approach that building, it sort of funnels into a large, wide stairwell out in the open where you're no longer in cover. So you basically have to like step completely out into the open and go up this long staircase up to this building that's just like completely exposed, basically, if you're going to walk up to the door. And then also, as you're scanning, you notice you do not see any other kobolds, at least at first glance, and you do not recall seeing any kobold drake knights in particular. So you would feel like you're perhaps the only kobold that'd be in this area. Though you have seen like other short drake knights, like gnomes and halflings and other smaller creatures and goblins. And you would perhaps maybe think that that's because not many kobolds would want to be associated with drakes, at least knowing your own personal disdain for them.
Hey, Waltz, I think your lip reading might come in handy here. Why don't we get a little bit closer, see what all this commotion's about, eh?
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. Waltz will walk forward with Dax and see if I can maybe look at a group of people in that commotion and see if I can read what they're saying.
All right, so Waltz, you're going to go attempt to read lips, and you have to get a little bit closer. Dax, are you going to hang back and let him go do this and come back and report, or what?
One person's less likely to get seen than two.
Yeah, I mean, if we're trying not to be seen, it may be more detrimental. I think if we just act normal, that's maybe better in this case, huh?
Waltz, my only concern is that there aren't kobolds here, so as soon as somebody sees me, I think it'll be kind of obvious that I don't belong.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'll wander around and see what I can do. Yeah, Waltz will just walk around leisurely, every now and then glancing over to see what he's able to read.
Okay, so you're kind of like trying to inconspicuously walk around the fringes of this mass, maybe stopping, like kind of like looking at like little barrels or just random things you see. Can you roll me a society check?
9.
Okay, so you sort of peer into the mass of people, and as you're looking through the group, there is one person that stands out the most, and you just see this beastkin looking individual. It's this shirtless, barrel-chested man with a big beer gut. He's got hair just like on his back, shoulders, all over his chest. He has big mutton chops, a pig-like nose, and big tusks coming out from his mouth. But other than that, he looks more or less human. And he's standing there as a couple other Drake Knights are rubbing his shoulders, kind of hyping him up a little bit. They hand him a big, heavy maul. He's nodding, kind of scanning in the group. And you see a very skinny-looking human that's kind of nodding to himself too. He looks a little nervous, and his friends are talking to him as well. And then they hand him an axe, and they're kind of patting him, kind of coaching him up. But you're trying to like read lips, and just as you feel like you're gonna start picking up on what's going on, you hear, "Hey, Waltz! It's Waltz! Look, Glorm! Oh, what? Hey, Waltz, over here! We saved you a spot! Come on, come here!"
Oh, hey, what's going on, buddies? Waltz is gonna wave with his right hand. Say, "Oh, hey, guys," and with his left hand down low is going to signal in secret speech to Dax to kind of go away.
Okay, can you roll me a society check with a +2 circumstance bonus?
22.
Okay, you feel like you expertly pulled that off, Dax. Maybe you smirked to yourself at how perfectly executed that was.
God, he's good.
And Whisk and Glorm, the goblin, and Catfolk walk up to you. They look really excited. "Hey, thanks again for dropping off that deer for us. We made sure to save you a seat. Come on, let's go." They're kind of like pulling at your arm.
Yeah, let's do it. They're fighting here pretty soon, I think, huh?
Yeah. They're fighting for leadership. Yeah. Yeah, that's Boric. He's probably gonna bash that guy's head in. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not that guy.
Yeah, that would be terrible to have your head bashed in. 'Cause then you wouldn't have your head, right, Glorm? That's right.
Yeah, hey, Whisk, is it right what they say about cats? How cats have 9 lives? Does that carry over to you too, or is that more like the non-cat folk cat?
He kind of tilts his head at you, and Glorm goes, "That's actually a really rude thing to ask to a catfolk, Waltz."
Oh, really? I apologize. Listen, that's my bad.
He goes, No, it's okay. I don't know, some believe in reincarnation. Some think that we're immortal. I'm not sure if I've died before. I really don't want to find out, to be honest.
Yeah,
to be honest, I spend a lot of time thinking about my own mortality, Waltz.
Yeah, I think that's a normal thing to do, but let's go watch this fight.
Yeah, let's go watch people die after I just said that.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of like wander into the fringes of the group and kind of weasel your way into the crowd a little bit. Dax, what are you doing during this?
After seeing Walt's secret speech, expertly pulled off, I might add, I am going to kind of circle around the edges of the walls to avoid the crowds and head towards the barracks.
All right. Can you roll me a stealth check with a +4 circumstance bonus? Just because a lot of attention is on the center of this courtyard.
Oh, math is hard. That is a 31.
What? Okay.
Oh.
That's awesome. So you notice like this very large Drake Knight just pick up this big heavy crate and he just starts walking that direction, hugging the wall. So then you kind of scamper and kind of get behind him in his blind spot, but in a way where he is also like blocking you from view to like the rest of the courtyard. So you're kind of just like perfectly shadowing him and he's just completely oblivious that you're walking directly next to him. And anytime he looks like he's about to turn, you kind of like duck under the crate, so then the crate like hides you from his perception. So you're just like perfectly using like all the angles and everything that he's carrying as he walks completely around the courtyard and then towards the barracks and then sets down the crate, and then you hide behind the crate when he sets it down on the edge of the barracks and kind of wait for him to walk off, and he starts walking towards the center of the courtyard.
Incredible.
I will pull out that stethoscope that I mentioned last episode and walk up to the door of the barracks and listen to the other side, see if there's anybody obviously in there having a conversation.
Okay, you roll me a perception check.
Dang it. 12.
Okay, you hear a little bit of murmuring in there.
I'm going to bang on the door like it's really important, and then I'm going to immediately hide, like try to turn a corner, hide behind a crate or something.
Okay. Yeah. Roll me a stealth check for after you bang on this door.
Uh-oh.
It might be a nat 1, but I'm not sure if I'm being
I can
honest with
see
you.
where this is going.
It's a nat 1.
Is it?
Okay.
All the better.
All right, roll me a percentage die.
After a 34 or whatever it was.
Yeah. I got you all the way around the courtyard, though. That was a good one.
92.
92?
Which is either really good or really bad. I don't know.
I've said before in our Metacast for patrons that, so what I do is if someone rolls a nat 1, and I know this isn't official homebrew, but we love the wild swings of like something bad happening. But what I do to be nice is I have them roll a percentage die when they nat 1, and if they roll really well on the percentage die, sometimes I do something where like they fail, but like in a way that actually helped them. So it's like almost like this nat 20, but like in a less cool way.
Mission failed successfully.
Yeah, Dax failed successfully. So Dax, you prepare to go pound on the door, and you raise your fist, and just as you're about to pound it, the door swings open, hits you, pins you up against the wall on the outside of the door as someone barges out of the door, and you hear someone turn around and goes,
I told you, I'll feed the old monkey man after the fight, okay? He's not eating. It's like he's trying to starve himself or something.
What, did you try giving him bananas?
Bananas? There's no bananas on Nisserine, you idiots! I'll take care of it after the fight, all right?
and then he slams the door shut in the barracks and then starts wandering to the group amassed in the center. So you kind of shake your head for a moment after this door just smacked you in the head.
Does anybody shut the door, or is it just still open?
He slammed it shut like he was yelling back at that guy.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
Can you roll me a perception check really quick?
Oh, for sure. 23.
So you're kind of rubbing your nose because your nose protrudes, so it got hit really hard by the door. And as you're rubbing your snout and your eyes are watering a little bit, you kind of squint and look at the guy that was just walking by towards the crowd, and you see a big hoop of keys hanging from his belt loop as he walks into the crowd.
Okay, Dax will look down at himself, just kind of taking stock of what he looks like, and he will try his best to tuck his tail up into his shirt, and still has his hood up, and out of his bag he will take his bedroll and rip some strips off of it. That'll use to cover his feet and his legs, so he looks less kobold-like. Just kind of looks like a small humanoid. Do you need me to roll something for that?
Yeah, just roll me a like a deception check, I guess.
Okay. That is the third 16 I've rolled tonight. That is a 23.
Beauty.
All right, so you're kind of frantically like behind that crate that you were hiding behind before, just grabbing stuff out of your pack and trying to obscure any of the parts of your body that clearly define you as a kobold, almost like mittens or like makeshift boots that you're just wrapping cloth around you for. And you can tell it's not necessarily like a normal thing that someone would wear, but it would at least like buy you some time if someone saw you.
Sure. And then with that, I will start following the Drake Knight with the keys on their belt.
Okay.
Can you describe the stage area? Is it just a stage and it's just an open crowd? Like in my brain, I'm thinking like when there was like a hanging and it was like a platform and there were just like
that's pretty accurate. It's just an elevated platform and everyone's gathered around it on all sides, and it's just got.
Is there kind of like bleachers around it? Is that more or less what we're sitting on?
No, it just seems like people are just kind of standing around it.
Okay, because they saved me a seat, so I didn't know if I was in.
You can ask them why they're so stupid. It's definitely not the GM being stupid. It's them, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I'll try my best to blend in, keep my head down, try to look inconspicuous as possible, and just tail this guy.
Okay. So you're making your way towards the crowd, and we'll cut back to Waltz. You feel the energy picking up. You see that large man, the hairy man with the tusks and the pig-like nose, walk up to the center of the stage, and he's raising this heavy maul, like, and everyone's like, yeah, boring, yeah. And then you look over at Gloin, the goblin next to you, and he's kind of doing like a shake of his head, like, nah, this guy. Kind of a disappointed look on Whisk's face as well. And then you see that skinnier-looking human ascend the stage as well, and he's kind of doing the same thing, like, yeah, and there's a little bit less cheering from the crowd. And Waltz, you feel a little tug on your pant leg, and you look down and see Gloin kind of looking bashful.
I'll just turn to him and wait for him to say something, kind of confused.
Hey, Waltz, I can't really see the fight. You think you could,
No.
You know.
I want to look around for any kind of maybe stone, a rock, like something like a stone structure that would maybe connect to posts if there was fences or something.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty cleared out courtyard, and it's they clearly cleared out space for this, so you'd be getting pretty far away from the fight to go find something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool if you don't want to, I just...
But you're telling me there's not a single rock around?
I mean, this is where they live. It's not like they just have giant rocks just in the center of their courtyard, you know what I mean? It's cleared out. They live here, you know?
No rock.
No rock.
I'm being bamboozled here because I know he's baiting me into something.
Baiting you for what, bro? He just wants to be on your shoulders.
I don't want to hear it, Zacronesty. I know where this is going.
You.
What do you think I'm baiting you for? He's gonna just stab you in the head?
Shut up, Zach. Don't downplay anything here, Zacronesty. I know you.
Zacronesty.
Who lives on Bluegrass Tallgrass Lane.
Here, let's just kind of weave through the crowd, see if we can get maybe up more towards the front here.
Okay.
I guess I'll see you later. Kind of starts making
This is how you know you're being baited by the GM. This is how you know, because that's a logical...
You see sad goblin ears kind of just angled downward as he wanders into the crowd without his friends.
No, I'm obviously going with him. Why are you saying no? I'm saying I'll go with him and we'll find a better opening where we can all see a little bit better towards the front.
It's pretty packed up there, you know.
It's just that I saved you a seat, so we kind of lost out on the closer spots.
Where are we sitting?
Well, I guess we're standing technically. But, I mean, it's fine. It's cool. You can describe it to me later.
I don't know why you're being so skeptical of this.
You know exactly why. Last time Zach Arnesi baited me into something, I got pushed into a freaking dragon's mouth, and he's acting like I'm the crazy one here. I'm getting gaslighted.
Gaslighted.
Can I do a perception check to see if there's like an opening in the crowd?
It's a packed crowd, bro.
What about
we
what's
can
his
move on
name?
from this encounter, dude. Like,
Whisk? Whisk probably can't see very well either. I'm just
no,
trying
Whisk
to be
can see fine.
diplomatic
Whisk's taller
here.
than you.
Whisk's tall. He's that tall?
Yeah, he's a tall guy. He's cat folk.
He's a cat, of course. He
Cats
is.
are tall.
Yeah, Whisk.
Everybody knows
Cats are
tall.
known for being really tall, guys.
Hey, Whisk, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tired from dragging that deer all the way down that tunnel. I want our friend here to be able to see, and I just want to see if maybe we can weasel through and find a spot a little bit closer to where... What's his name, Glob? Glorb?
His name is Glorm.
Want to see if we can weasel through to find a better spot that we can all, including Glorb, to see this fight happen.
No, I'm good where I am.
Did I
I can
say it
see
wrong
just
again?
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good where I am. I can see just fine. So feel free.
But can I... Listen, I want you
ahead.
to join us. I want us all three to stay as friends.
I don't know. It's
Can I
pretty
roll a
thick up there.
diplomacy check or something?
Yeah, go for it. This feels like the type of encounter where, like, the GM's like, I just made an unlocked door and they could have opened it and they spent, like, 2 hours trying to figure out, like...
Nah, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all.
What'd you get on your diplomacy?
19.
Yeah, okay, sure, I guess. I feel like I have a good spot, though.
Yeah, but listen, we're all friends. We don't want to leave any friends behind. We want to make sure our buddy here can see the fight too. But I'd put him on
Why don't
my
you just put him
shoulders.
on
I'm
your
just
shoulders?
really
He
tired.
asked you if he could get on your shoulders.
Yeah, I literally just got done saying a sentence that said I'd put him on my shoulders, but I'm just kind of tired from dragging that deer all the way.
You know what?
Listen, I'm just trying to be diplomatic here and make sure that we're all happy here, all
You're
right?
just not as chill as I thought you were. You seemed way more cash money earlier.
Zach's gaslighting AF right now.
It's just like, I thought we were all friends, you know?
I thought this was going to be a heist. How stupid of me.
And you're trying real hard to make it so that we all can't see and we're all comfortable.
You know
like
what?
that's
If
a
you
little
just want
bit
to go watch
unfair.
the fight somewhere else, it's fine.
Oh my god, they're breaking up.
Yeah, just go with Glorm. I'm good where I am, though.
All right, Glorm, let's go. We'll find a spot that we can both see up here, all right?
Okay.
I'll have to get to the very front.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll hold his arm or something like that and weasel through a couple people and make sure we get to a spot where he can see.
All right, roll a... are you just trying to muscle your way through the crowd?
No, just politely kind of moving people out of the way.
All right, roll me just like a diplomacy as you politely move your way through the crowd. This is such a long encounter. I did not...
19.
Okay. You're just like... Yeah. Glorm's like,
Bye, Whisk. See ya.
all right, and you're kind of just like politely exchanging pleasantries with Drake Knights as you like muscle your way to the front, and a couple of them are like pushing you as you get by, like oh god, like getting mad that you're kind of working your way through, like I know, kind of thing. And you get to the very front.
Perfect. I'll put Glorm in front of me so that I can see over him.
Glorm is just staring at this like wall of a platform directly in front of him.
I actually see worse here. We didn't really think this through. It's like a way worse perspective for me. Yeah, I guess I could just listen.
God, I hate Zach.
It's not a big deal. Like, it's fine.
All right, and with that, the fight seems to be starting.
I thought you were going to say that's where we end the session.
All right, I'll put him on my shoulders if I can.
All right, you pick up Glorm, you set him on his shoulders, and he kicks his feet very happily.
I love it.
This is the best seat now. We're in the front row and I'm on your shoulders. Wow.
Yeah, it's good, buddy. I'm glad you can see. If you don't mind, I'll just have to, set you down from time to time, maybe in between fights, because
In
my
between
shoulders
fights,
are
yeah,
pretty.
no big deal. Yeah,
Yeah, my
thanks,
shoulders
man.
are pretty pretty tired still. But yeah, glad you could see, buddy.
Yeah, Whisk is an idiot staying back there.
Waltz will also, if I can, look for anybody around the ring. Maybe anybody that looks of any like importance. Anybody having a conversation that doesn't look like they're just cheering for the fight.
Okay. Roll a perception.
Nat 9, 14.
Aaron's face like you got a nat 20.
You got me all excited.
All right. Okay. So you're kind of scanning around the fight, and just a lot of commotion, a lot of faces, a lot of people packed in. Nobody really standing out to you in particular. In fact, it seems like these two people up on stage are probably the most important people here, given the situation. And with that, the fight starts as Boric lumbers towards this skinnier man. And the skinnier man looks like he's taking it way more seriously than Boric. You know, like, this is his chance. And he goes to swing his axe. And Boric just grabs his wrist and throws it to the side and laughs at him and then pushes him in the chest as the guy stumbles. You can tell that Boric clearly has the upper hand. And we'll cut back to Dax. So, Dax, you have made your way to the fringes of this crowd, and your eyes are on the man that you followed from the barracks with the ring of keys on his belt, who seems to be on the fringes of the crowd. What do you do?
I am going to simply try to close the gap. I'm going to continue to move. I don't want to like sit still and observe, because I feel like that would just kind of draw attention. From time to time, I'll look up to the fight and cheer just to blend in a little bit more, but otherwise just be closing the gap.
Okay. Can you roll me a stealth check with a +4 circumstance bonus?
You bet. Come on. 26.
All right. So you're kind of taking note of the moments of the fight, especially because you feel like the skinnier guy has very telegraphed attacks, and you can tell that the bigger guy is kind of toying with him. So you're being very opportunistic with when he strikes and when people cheer and things like that, and you basically move your way like right up to the edge of this man. You're pretty much like directly behind him.
This might be tricky, but that's okay, because I'm a heisty boy.
Ooh, I'm a heisty boy. Episode name?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to bump another person into him to kind of create that distraction. I don't want to bump into him directly. I'm going to try to bump another person into him and kind of in one fell swoop use that as the distraction to lift the keys off his hip.
Okay, roll me a thievery check.
Not nat 20, but a 24.
Nice. Okay. So right as a strike happens and a bunch of people like raise their hands up in the air to cheer, you kind of use that like that's what you're doing, and then raise your arm up and then shove another Drake Knight into the man that you're following from the barracks. They bump into each other. The guy from the barracks goes, "Hey, watch it!" and pushes him really hard in the chest. He's like, "I'm just watching the fight here." And then he pushes him back. And right as they do that, you expertly pull out your dagger, stick it in his belt loop flat side, and then twist it just to cut the belt loop. And then you grab the ring of keys as they fall to the ground, and then stick it in your cloak expertly.
I'm not going to directly leave. I don't want it to be that obvious. So I am going to just continue moving and then slowly make my way to the outskirts of the crowd. And once I get to the edge of the crowd, I want to take a look around for what looks like it might be a jail of some sort, or, you know, if it's obvious at all where this quote-unquote monkey man might be held.
All right, yeah, roll me a perception check with a +2 circumstance bonus if you're looking for something very specific.
It's a nat 1.
All right.
Percentage
Roll me a percentage die. Yeah.
What? 2 nat 1? I'm either rolling really well or just terribly, I guess. 22.
22?
Yeah.
Okay. So right as you're scanning the crowd, looking for what may be a jail cell, someone raises their arm up and an elbow smacks you in the nose, and you fly back and kind of land on your butt and then drop the keys, and they slide into the crowd, and a bunch of feet start kicking him deeper into the crowd.
Oh no! Oh no!
That sucks.
That sucks. And then the goblin on top of Waltz stabs Waltz in the head and kills him. I knew it, because you're nat 1.
Oh crap! Oh no! Oh no! I'm going to stand up and move towards those keys. Just watch them getting kicked. I'm going to try to catch up to them maybe a little too fast.
Okay, can you roll me a perception check to see how well you track the keys being kicked into the crowd?
That is a 24.
Okay, so you feel like you have an eye on him and you're watching his feet kick them deeper and deeper into the crowd. Are you just going to try and muscle your way through? Are you trying to stealth through? Are you just trying to get it as fast as possible?
I am not trying to get them as fast as possible because, I mean, Dax is a thief after all, so he's not completely lost his bearing, but he is maybe not quite as stealthy as he was before because this is a big wrench in the plan. This didn't go off as smoothly as he had hoped, so maybe with just a little bit of anxiety or a little panic.
Can you roll me like an acrobatics check? Maybe like you're weaving through the crowd using your size to go under legs and things like that.
That is a 13.
So you're ducking, like weaving in between legs the best you can, but then it's just so many unpredictable movements happen, like knees like bang and kind of knock you off kilter, and they're like, watch out, goblin! Push you in the back a little bit, you stumble forward, make way through the crowd, you're kind of keeping your eyes on the keys. You see a Knoll's hand reach down and grab the keys, scraping some dirt as it picks it up, looks at it, kind of growls, looks confused, holds the keys up, studying them, and then looking around throughout the crowd.
I'm going to freeze in place. I guess I'm going to try to take him in. Is he dressed any differently? Is he, does he have different weapons than anybody else? Does he look more important?
Just kind of at a glance, and you've seen a lot of Drake Knights by now. He's, shirtless, like fur exposed, kind of just has like torn pants on. And then just hanging at his side, he has like a scimitar. Just kind of looks like a low-level Drake Knight. And Waltz, as you're watching the fight, front row seat with your buddy glowing on your shoulders, you're watching as Boric has proved his point as being far superior to this fighter. He dodges one sword attack and then for the first time swings his maul with a big overhead strike, hits this man directly in the head and just crushes his head. His head like explodes. Totally kills this man, absolutely devastating. And everyone's like, whoa! Like cheering, and he's like, yeah! And everyone's like clapping, like, Boric. And then you just see this eccentric looking goblin with just like frayed hair climb on stage.
Yes, that makes Boric the leader of the Drake Knights, Sindor's right-hand man. Yes, Boric!
Everyone's cheering. And Waltz, in that moment that the maul connected with this man's head and it exploded, in that exact moment, can you roll me a religion check?
Ooh, I can do that. Maybe glowing actually gives me powers.
Yeah, maybe I was trying to help you. You ever think of that?
Wrong. Nice, 24.
All right. The second that happens, you get this brief flash of everything around you completely destroyed. Like the walls incinerated, the ground is completely charred. You see, that was a good roll. So in that moment, you see your shield in the ground, just crisp, burnt around the edges, many dents in it. You see Ryu's sword stabbed in the dirt with the rag that flows from the handle covered in blood. You see Dax's bow broken on the ground, and you see Jules's ocarina shattered to bits, and you feel like you're standing in a wasteland. And then that moment disappears, and you see Boric standing there with a maul above his head, cheering as the crowd chants his name. Boric!
Was in that vision, like I could tell it was like in that courtyard, but the courtyard itself was kind of like destroyed and turned into a wasteland, or was I somewhere else?
No, you were where you are. You were in the courtyard.
Okay.
Dark clouds looming over in a wasteland.
Waltz will immediately probably tense up. Any expression that he had on his face probably goes relatively blank. I'm sure his shoulders rise, his arms tense up. He starts breathing into his chest, or maybe not even breathing a little bit at all, and will just stare off into space a little bit. So anything that he was doing, anything that he was looking for, as far as reading lips or trying to pick up any information, is definitely not happening anymore.
I'll give you a moment to process that as well. And Dax, in that moment, as everyone's cheering and their hands are up in the air, you see someone grab the Gnoll's shoulder and shake him like, come on, man, like, don't you see this? You see him look down and just kind of lazily put the key loop on the hilt of his sword. So using the sword in his holster and then using like the handle of his sword as a way to just kind of hold the keys for a moment as he starts cheering and clapping as well.
I think this time I'll try a little bit different tactic. I will walk up to him chanting Boric, but I'm going to try to disguise my voice. I guess I don't know if all kobolds sound the same, but so far all goblins sound at least relatively similar.
It's definitely not a limitation of my voice acting skills.
No. It's just the lore. It's the very deep and thorough
it's just the lore. Yeah,
No.
it's a super deep lore. They love sitting on their friends' shoulders. They mean no harm.
So yeah, I'll walk up to the Gnoll with fist in the air, just chanting Boric, 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 and give him a big pat on the back with one hand, and while I do that, attempt to lift the keys with my other hand.
Okay, roll me a thievery check.
Dude, nice. That's a clever idea.
11.
Yeah, roll again.
So as you pat him on the back and you're saying Boric, he kind of like looks at you and then looks away, but then like double takes, like doesn't know you, kind of like, oh, who are you? And as you do that, you kind of lift the keys off, and then he like sees you kind of like putting the keys behind your back.
Oh.
And then he just kind of looks at you and says,
Are those your keys? I found them on the ground.
Yeah, sorry. Thanks for grabbing those.
Yeah.
And then I will just head out.
Okay, wait. And you just start weaving your way through the crowd. Can you roll me another acrobatics check to see how quickly you can get out of there?
Absolutely. That's more freaking like it. That is a 26.
Yes, Joel.
Sweet. You perfectly slide between a group of people that like instantly obscure your vision to him, and then weave your way, ducking under legs as people are cheering, and then exit the group, and then kind of look over your shoulder and then see him do kind of a confused look and then shake his head like whatever, and then just go back to like cheering, and you've made it out of the group.
This time I will head all the way out of the crowd to keep that from happening again. I will head back to just anywhere along the wall, really.
All right. Can you roll me a perception check?
Yeah. 23.
So as you make your way out of the crowd, you're kind of scanning frantically for anywhere that might be the dungeon, jail cell, whatever. And you do see like a heavy metal door with a window cut out of it with the bars going down. You know what I'm talking about, man.
I do.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right.
I guess, does the coast look clear at all towards that?
Yeah, you see just most people are gathered in the center and just like cheering.
I guess I will make my way that way.
Okay. Yeah, you make your way up to the door.
I'll do the old stethoscope trick again. Try to hear what's going on inside.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
23.
Okay. So it's a little disorienting as you hear just like all of the cheering like resonating off the walls, but you're listening and you feel like you don't hear anything on the other side.
I will try the door.
Locked.
Dax will take the keys out of his pack and start looking through the keys. I will look for one that is well worn.
All right. Yeah, you're kind of just flipping through the keys, and there's clearly one that has a little bit more use.
I will try that key in the lock first.
Stick it in, turn it, unlocks the door. Works like a charm.
I will slither my way in the door, closing it behind me.
Close the door, you turn around, and it's clearly a dark dungeon passage. There's just some light coming in from behind you in the exposed window, and some stairs that descend.
As they do. From my thieves' tools, I'll pull out a pick and just wedge it under the door so the door can't be opened from the outside.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's really cool. Yeah, you can take one out and just kind of like wedge it under the door and kick it in so it's packed in there pretty tight.
And then I'll go ahead and head down the stairs, being very cautious of making noise or being noticed.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check.
14.
All right, so you're moving down the stairwell, your dark vision's sort of adjusting, there's still some torchlight, and you kind of carelessly step in like a little puddle maybe that's just on the cobblestone stairs, like someone spilled water or something, and it kind of makes a little splash, and you just hear a cough come from the corridor.
Hearing the cough, Dax will just pause for a second and wait maybe 5-10 seconds, waiting for any other noise or reaction to the sound before continuing on.
You hear nothing, and you feel like you definitely would, just because it was clearly echoey, like when you stepped in that puddle. So if anything was going on in there, you'd certainly hear something.
Awesome. I'll continue on.
All right, so you walk down the stairwell, and you turn the corner, and your dark vision's adjusted, and obviously there's torchlight as well. And you just see a line of cells along the wall, just with bars, and they all appear to be empty except for one. And you see chains hanging from the ceiling, and a humanoid with their arms raised in these chains on their knees, just kind of drooped over uncomfortably with their head hung low.
I will grab a torch off the wall and make my way towards the cell to reveal who it is.
So as you walk closer and the light starts to spill into the cell, you see a furry humanoid with long arms, and you can tell it is a Venara. And as the torchlight spills over them, a head raises, squinting at the bright light, and you see the face of Dunadast. And you hear,
I won't eat anything. Go away.
Dunadast, you son of a gun.
Oh, yes.
Dax, is that you?
Yeah, Dunadast, it's me. I'm here to get you out.
No, you can't.
What? Well, why not?
he hangs
Are
his
you
head
okay?
low.
What do they do to you?
Dax, if you're going to do anything, you should kill me.
You know I can't do that.
You must.
You're the only one who knows anything about the Arcanor. How are we supposed to stop this without you?
Exactly.
He kind of angrily moves back and forth in his chains, shaking them, trying to get out.
Hey, be quiet. Shh. Nobody can know I'm here.
Dax, please, just do it in a way that looks like I died in my cell on my own or something. You must, Sindor, just to buy you time, but you must kill me. I'm too risky to be left alive.
Dunadast, you can't expect me to do that without you telling me what's going on.
Maybe if I tell you, you'll understand why. Sindor, he's kept me here all this time, in case anything went wrong with the Arcanor. As I said, of course nothing did. I built it perfectly. As I came in here, I could tell the Arcanor was still functioning as I expected. I could, of course, sense it, which made me wonder why. Why did he get me? Why is he ensuring I'm alive? His soldiers, they've taken good care of me, and he's chained me up so that I can't kill myself. At least that's how I perceive it. So I wondered, and then I remembered. When I made the Arcanor, when I explained to him the importance of getting the equation right, I told them it's because if there was anything off, if anything was done incorrectly, the power of the ley line, it would implode on itself. It would create an explosion, an unimaginable, devastating explosion. And I said, if this occurred on Nisserine, it would create destruction, a tidal wave the likes of which we've never seen. It would destroy perhaps everything on Kyria's coast. The Elven capital, Mazivo. The entire Elvish democracy is there. Sindor, all he ever wants to do is destroy. I fear something has changed. For some reason, he doesn't need the Drakes anymore. I feel he's gotten all he needs out of Nisserine, and that's what's next. And I know how to do it, and I know he'll be able to get it out of me. You must kill me, Dax.
And Waltz, as you're standing there, thinking of the vision you had when Boric killed his opponent and became the leader of the Drake Knights, you feel like that vision you had became the path you were on. The moment Boric became the leader of the Drake Knights and Sindor's right-hand man through this ceremony, and you feel something needs to change to correct this path.
So Waltz will gently take Glorm off his shoulders and set him down. He'll take a deep breath in and exhale, look down to his shield, grip it tight, and as he's gripping it, he'll use any divine energy that he's attained to heal himself to whatever he can. So I'll cast Lay on Hands when I do that and heal myself for 12 hit points.
All right. As you pick up your shield, a subtle glow resonates around you. Glorm looks at you, kind of confused, sensing a shift in your emotions, seeing this magic resonate from you. A few people in the crowd kind of look at you a little bit as this happens. You pick up your weapons. What do?
Waltz will climb onto this stage. As he stands up, he'll still kind of be hanging his head, and he'll just slowly pick it up and look at Boric.
He looks back at you, confused. The cheering dies down. His look of excitement goes to confusion, then rage, and he lowers his head, knowing what that means. And that is where we'll end our session.
Golly, fellas.
With Dax pondering killing Dunadast and Waltz being forced to kill, perhaps for the first time in this campaign, I think, for maybe the betterment of a lot of people. I don't know. I feel like we should talk about this, guys, right? Don't you guys think we should talk about this?
I have a lot I need to say.
There's a lot. That was a test. That was a test, and you just failed. You guys know that we don't talk about this right here, right now. We talk about that in the downtime, which is for patrons, where we react to the most recent episode. I'm really disappointed, you guys. I mean, this is like, we've got about 20 episodes to figure this out. But we'll talk about it later.
I need to talk about this.
We'll talk about it later, okay? There's a lot to digest there. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you, listeners. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. You make us a podcast. You are the reason we can do this. So thank you for sticking with us. Tell your friends about us. That really helps us out. You know, give us likes, upvotes, good ratings, reviews, all that stuff. Seriously helps us out. I know content creators say that all the time, but like really goes a long way. So thank you so much for doing that. What's that, Terry?
Be a good friend. Don't be like Whisk, who didn't even join us. Be a good friend like Gloin.
I mean, don't be like Waltz and not let your friends sit on your shoulder. You know, be
don't be a Waltz.
Should have been, and put your friends on your shoulders and show them this podcast. You know,
don't put your friends on your shoulder and tell them about the podcast.
Yeah, do that. Go pick up your friends, put them on your shoulders, and tell them about this podcast. They will not be weirded out at all. And anyway, I just want to thank Joel, who does all of our editing vocals. Yeah, and you tell me, Joel, when you're listening to this episode over and over again, making edits, if I sounded like I was gaslighting Taryn, or if Taryn was in the wrong. It should have just picked up Gorm, I don't know, who cares, some stupid goblin name. Should have picked them up. You just wanted to watch the fight, dude. You're buddies. Literally nothing happened, Taryn. Let this be a trust exercise.
Yeah.
I pushed you into one hole with the Drake, and now you don't trust me.
And why did nothing
yet? Yeah, we'll talk about the downtime. And then I want to thank Taryn, who does all of our sound effects editing for that. You're the man, dude. Seriously, a lot of work. You bring this to life. You have to listen to so many sound effects, you know, just go over each and every encounter event and just figure out ways to make it sound better. And like, it really shows. So thank you for elevating our podcast and bringing it to the next level. Seriously, love it. And thank you, Adam, for not even showing up. Like, what the heck, dude? Like, where are you?
Come on,
like,
bro.
Are you drawing or something? This dude is always drawing.
Getting surgery
Which
or something?
reminds me, he does all of our original artwork for this podcast. So all of our logos, banners, character portraits, action shots, our session sketch that he commemorates each episode, as voted on by patrons, does a super awesome sketch. Some of these are like 8-panel stuff. Some of these are just like huge, like really detailed portraits, like blow-ups, things like that. Like, it's incredible. Dude's so talented. Check it out. And I want to thank Ryan, who does all of our original music. That's right, I said original, dude. This guy, he doesn't have ghostwriters, you know? He's not like ripping off stuff. He's not like using license-free garbage. No, he is like in the lab, dude. He goes into the lab. This man has a lab. So yeah, Ryan, thanks for going into the lab and just cranking out bangers, dude. You're the man.
Welcome.
And yeah, I want to thank you're welcome. I want to thank the listeners one last time. And we'll see you next time, mortals.
Later.
Well, if our DM would tell us how to go, or where to go, or what's going on. So I win. I find the arcanor, and then I take it back.
Oh yeah, I get to be GM now.
No, you don't.
Ah, shoot. He got back just in time that we couldn't make it official.
We almost had it. We almost had it.
You guys did a speed run.
You should have yelled.